welcome to Books Unbound, the podcast where we unbind books to get to their hearts with your hosts, us. It's Ariel and
Raeleen. Yola.
Before everyone asks, no, we did not dress in green on purpose to match, but we did do that through, the power of our cosmic connection.
Uh-huh.
We woke up today and we said, green for the podcast? Agreed.
Agreed.
Or as one of my besties, Maureen, would say, aligned.
Ooh. I love that. Yeah, I wore this shirt today because, it's kind of funny. It looks like my hair almost blends into it.
Yeah.
And I didn't wear this hat to look like Shrek on purpose.
And yet?
And yet I do. So it's a very Shrek-y day.
Core.
I actually just watched Shrek the other day, so.
That's pretty exciting.
Finally.
And if by the time this episode comes out, maybe I don't know math anymore. And days aren't even math, but they feel like math.
Yeah,
You know?
I know what you mean.
But maybe your special episode will come out because you did a vlog for the Patreon with Shrek, right?
Oh, yeah. It'll
Watching
certainly be out
Shrek.
by the time this comes out, I think, or it'll be coming very soon. So, yeah, I guess I can tease it now for anybody who might want to go watch it. It is a Shrek read-along of me reading the Shrek book, the picture book, to you guys. And then it's a audio commentary of the movie. I watched the movie and just sat here with the microphone, and any little thought that popped into my head while I was watching it, I said it. So
Director's cut.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty special. Yeah, it's going to be something pretty awesome for you guys. So yeah.
That's amazing. I think that's awesome. This week it's been a weird one for me. I guess I would say weird in that I didn't read very much. And there's been a couple weeks of this and it's just been work and stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I did do something exciting yesterday. Well, I say exciting. It was exciting. It was fun and it was jolly. And most importantly, it was important.
Oh.
I did a makeup wedding trial or a wedding makeup trial.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because I was just thinking about makeup earlier and you and your wedding specifically. That's really weird. I was just thinking, I wonder how Ariel's makeup journey is going. So tell me everything.
That's our cosmic connection there.
Yeah,
again,
that's true.
Functioning at full power. How is my makeup journey going? Well, if I talked to you literally yesterday before I'd done the makeup trial, I would have said, hypothetically, theoretically, it's going well.
Yeah.
But now that I've done a practice round, I actually feel like it's going well.
Cool.
So I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast, but I decided that I'm going to do my own makeup for the wedding. This is for lots of different reasons. The main ones being I would rather spend that money on new products and learning new things rather than on a makeup specialist. Secondly, I want to be in control of my look on the day. If I cry, I want to be able to fix it. If something goes wrong, I want to be able to fix it and have the tools to repair what's gone wrong. 3, I want to look like myself again. That actually is a really important point. I want to feel a little fancy and a little special, but not a totally different person. I've never worn full glam before. And so while I actually love that brides do that on their day because it makes them feel special and fancy and like a princess or whatever, I think that's beautiful. But for me, it's not the look I'm going for. So I want to do it myself. And then there was another reason. It's expensive. So I was like, I can put this money towards just the products that I can then use for a year.
Yeah.
I think I repeated myself twice in those reasons, but that's how powerful the reasoning feels.
I hear you.
So anyways, I've been on a journey the last few months of watching YouTube videos and learning a lot of information about makeup. This really goes to my theory, Raeleen. And I remember I told you my theory, but I basically was I think most people that wear makeup learned how to do a look that they liked in late teenagehood.
Yeah.
And then they stuck with that. They
Pretty
just
true. Yeah.
kept doing that. And over time you might throw in one new element and the main thing is keep improving the thing that you're doing over and over and over again. When I started doing eyeliner, for example, it would take me a long time.
Oh, yeah.
It would take me a really long time to do it, and they would never come out even close to even, and I would erase it a lot, wipe it away, dry it off, try again, wipe it away, try it. It was a whole iterative process. You've seen me do eyeliner now. It takes me a minute
You're quick.
I'm done.
You're like Ariana Grande. Just one swipe and you're done.
Yes. And so, I think that that's what most of us do. And I think it's good. It's functional. It's useful. It's like we've gotten comfortable with a certain look. But I guess the negative side of that, if there is a negative side, is just that it doesn't encourage like learning new skills or finding out what else is out there or learning about new technologies, which are rampant. And so I just thought this is a fun excuse to push myself a little bit in this arena. Okay. So then I started like trying to figure out like, what do I want?
Yeah.
Like, what do I want to look like on the day? Again, what am I actually saying here? And it's like, for example, I'll just choose one product as an example of this journey. Foundation. I haven't worn foundation in like a decade. It scares me. It, to me, feels thick and like I'm scared to touch my own face or like rub my face on my shirt. Maybe I have talked about this on the podcast, but I have this ingrained traumatic memory of being 15.
Oh, God.
Yeah, here we go.
Take me back.
Childhood trauma of being 15 and leaning on Connor. Yeah, that's right. Connor's shoulder, like while we were on a walk or something, lifting off and seeing on his black hoodie just makeup.
Yeah.
And I was like subtly trying to push it off and was like, Kalina, don't look over here for a second. Oh, like I was just mortified. You know what I mean? It's not mortifying. It just, as a 15-year-old, everything is mortifying.
Yeah.
But ever since then, I've been tainted. I haven't wanted to touch foundation again, And I also just I'm very lucky, and I have nice skin.
I was gonna say
nice
like you don't need it. Like your skin looks glorious.
I'm very, very lucky. Like let's be clear. I know that is the main reason why I don't wear it. Right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, however, just like anyone with skin, it's not perfectly even.
Yeah.
And I have breakouts sometimes, and blah blah blah. And so I was like, I want a foundation because on the day I do want to look like a little buffed, a little better than usual. But I don't want foundation. So what am I looking at here? And I'm watching videos about light foundations, and then people were like, but if you really want a light foundation, you should probably just wear a tinted moisturizer. I was like, tinted, okay. Or a tinted sunscreen. I was like, my God, what is this tech? And so I'm watching those videos. And then those people are like, but if you really want light coverage, you should go for a skin tint. Skin tint? What the hell is that? And I'm going down that. And so basically I'm learning going down the levels. And this is obviously in no way sponsored because first of all, we've never done a sponsorship on this podcast and we won't. But secondly, actually, you know what? I won't say that we won't. If someone amazing offers us a lot of money, maybe we will do it. Let's just put a never on that one. But anyways, we've never done a sponsorship. This is not a sponsorship. Also, why would a makeup company sponsor this podcast?
Two people who know nothing about makeup.
Exactly. To a person who just discovered what a skin tint is. I feel like the word skin tint is weird. Like
it does.
That's a weird term.
Odd. Yeah.
Like why are we trying to tint? Anyways, Summer Fridays. Have you heard of this brand?
Maybe it sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know it for sure.
I don't know it either. But I like their little packaging. Summer Fridays sheer skin tint.
Ooh.
It says light coverage, and it really is light. It feels more like a very thin moisturizer or something, very almost like an oil, sort of. I don't even know how to explain it because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Of course.
But anyways, this I'm really liking. I'm a shade 4. I don't know what that means either, but that is what I am. And you know what? Oh, I remembered the other reason why I don't want to have a makeup artist on the day. I know for some people that would make them feel really pampered.
Yeah.
But for me, I know myself. It will make me feel really awkward.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I wouldn't want it either.
In the hour running up to the wedding, I want to feel calm, as calm and chill as possible. Mm-hmm. I know that having to make small talk with, and I'm sure they'd be a very nice person, but having to make small talk with someone I've only met once before in my life and is now doing this look that feels really important, like that's all just going to be very stressful.
Yeah.
And so this was the other reason why I was like, I'd like to figure this out on my own. Anyways, so I'm loving this. This is awesome. But yeah, I realized when I went to Sephora, because I'd done all this research and I decided this was the one based on all the videos. This was the one I wanted. I went into Sephora and I was looking at 2 shades and I couldn't decide which one. And one of the girls that works there, you know, they are always trying to come at you. She was like, do you want some help? And I was like, yes. You know what? I do. I want to get one of these. They're kind of expensive. I don't want to mess it up and get the wrong one. She's like, easy. We can just test it on your skin. I was like, great.
Awesome.
So we go over to the mirror thing, and she just puts like a little bit here and a little bit up here, like on the cheek and on the jawbone, kind of a thing, so that we can compare the two. Instantly, it's obvious that it's this one, shade 4. Okay? And I'm like, thank you so much. This was very elucidating. I feel that I have the knowledge to make an educated purchase. Thank you. And she was like, no problem. That's why we do it. That's right. Like that's what we do. But that whole experience, I was like, this really cements the fact that I don't want a makeup person touching my face on the day. Like it just makes me so uncomfortable and awkward and weird. Anyways, so yesterday I finally did a full makeup trial. I was like, I'm just going to pretend I'm doing my makeup. I put on a YouTube video. I took my sweet time. Good news number 1. It only took me 30 minutes.
Ooh, that's quick.
Maybe 31, but like 30 minutes. And I was taking my sweet time, and I was trying some new products. So I was just like, wow, this is going to take me about 30 minutes on the day. That's awesome news. And I've allotted myself like over 2 hours to get ready.
Yeah.
But so I'll have loads of time, which is nice. Good news number 2. Love the skin tint. The other thing that I tried, Raeleen, was an eyeshadow primer. Ooh. Do you know about this technology?
I've heard about it. I have a different kind of primer that I use. It's not for eyeshadow. This didn't exist
when we were teenagers.
They've got so many different things now. It's actually terrifying.
Prime like a pro, it says. Essence is the brand. I bought it at Shoppers Drug Mart, so I don't know where the hell this is available. But anyways, this is like a little primer for your eyelids so that the eyeshadow sticks better.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, is that really that important? Wow, it makes a huge difference. Wow. Like, I'm surprised at the difference that it makes. And I guess it kind of makes sense. Like, your skin is a soft texture. Why would powder stick to it? But if you add a little medium to kind of help glue the two together, it's not glue, but like a thing.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, of course. You see, this is what I mean. I'm learning the technology. I'm pushing new boundaries. And overall, I had a lot of fun, actually, and I learned a lot. My look was too pink.
Oh.
It was too pink.
Okay.
I had a pink lip, pink blush, pink eyeshadow, and I was like, who am I? Pink?
Not today. Not for this.
Not today. So I also was like, I feel like I've done too much blush and that the placement isn't 100% right. But I also felt like, honestly, I was like, if this was my wedding day and I had to go down the aisle with this look, I'd be happy with it. Okay. It's nice.
Well, it's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good starting place. I can only go up from here.
Yeah.
So that was my big thing yesterday, pushing the wedding train forward. I would like to do like 3 more practices before the day. It was so funny too to just put on a lot of makeup, make dinner, eat dinner, and then just take it off. I was like, that was a practice run. It really, truly was.
That's so fun.
There you go. All right. That was kind of what I was up to yesterday. The whole week I've just been working on my hallway, cutting wood and sawing things and painting things.
Wow.
Oh, I have a nail gun now.
Oh my God.
That's the duality of woman. Nail gun and eyeshadow primer.
Nail gun and getting your nails done. That's beautiful. Well,
oh man,
I have been up to not a whole lot of things, but I have a couple of things. So, I mean, first off, I just wanted to talk about Sunrise on the Reaping, the movie, the new Hunger Games movie, because there's been a lot of news. So I set up a Google alert for Sunrise on the Reaping movie so that every time there's anything, I get notified. But I also I follow the Hunger Games account on Instagram, and every time like I open up my Instagram, if there's an update, that will always be at the top of my feed because it's very important. And so what they've been doing is every time they have casting news, they put out like a reel basically on Instagram that's like, here's the character and who's the person that's going to be playing them. And so there's been a lot of juicy news over the past few weeks, and the juiciest news of all came out this week, and it is that President Snow has been cast. So they needed a like kind of middle-aged version of President Snow for this movie, and it's the greatest casting of all time. They cast Ralph Fiennes, who played Voldemort, for those who don't know who he is, but
that's really interesting though. He's not young.
Well, he doesn't need to be young. He should be like in his 50s or 60s or something like at this point.
Oh, okay, sorry. When you said middle age, I was like, he's supposed to be like 35, 45? He's old now. How old is he? He's 62.
Yeah, that works. Because
Donald Sutherland played him in our movie.
Yes,
right?
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, Kiefer Sutherland should have played him because that's his son," and like that would have been really cool.
Amazing.
It would have been amazing. There's probably a good reason that didn't happen, but yeah, now I'm understanding why the budget for this movie is so high. Like this movie is going to be super high budget, like one of the highest ever, I think. Something like that. And yeah, it's deeply exciting. There's lots of great casting news. Like Maya Hawke is also going to be in this. Jesse Plemons is going to be in it. And like it's just funny because there was a lot of like fan casting before things started being announced, and a lot of the people were really rooting for are actually being cast, which just feels crazy. And there's also a decent amount of people that like I've never heard of, which I think is going to be great. I love it when they cast like unknown people, I guess. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm excited about everything. So
when does it come out again?
November next year. So they're going to start filming soon, I think, and I already can't wait for it to be 2026. November 2026. It's like a birthday present to me, you know? It's going to come out a couple weeks after my birthday. So, it's just crazy.
What movie is this again? This is the new book that you just read, right?
Yeah, this is the one that's about Haymitch when he was in the Hunger Games. So
right. So it's only going to be one movie. There's not going to be like, they're not splitting this into two or something.
No. Although they totally could. There's so much juicy stuff in this one, but I'm hoping that it's going to be really long. Like my hope is that it's going to be, I mean, most of the Hunger Games movies are fairly long, but I hope this one's like 3 hours. That's what I'm rooting for. It's going to be great. So yeah, I'm really excited.
It does feel like this could be a good show.
I mean, it totally could be, but it would also, I would be really annoyed if they did that. I don't like it when they start mixing things up like that. Like with Marvel, I'm like, why did they have to go and do that? All these shows that I'm never going to watch.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? I think it just, it'll be a really good movie.
Are there any actors from the Rachel Zegler one that will be in this?
No, because this is set 40 years later, so that wouldn't it wouldn't work. Yeah, there's too many time
too much
skips.
time jumping.
Yeah. Although there could be potentially like a flashback, and so maybe they'll film extra stuff for it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So who knows? We shall see. So that's kind of like the number one exciting thing that has been happening for me. But on the weekend, I also went to a social gathering. So I know it's like, this is a big deal. Here we go. Out with people. So Kyle has a few friends from work who organized like a little potluck barbecue thing. And
cute.
So we went. So it was us and a few people from Kyle's work and their respective wives. And so there was just a few of us and it was really nice. And but the reason I wanted to mention it too is because I learned something very interesting about two of the people who were there. So two of the people who came are from South Africa originally. And we somehow got talking about animals, and they said that they had pet meerkats back home.
Oh my
And
God.
I freaked out because for those who don't know, I love meerkats. And so I just was really excited about that, and I was like fangirling a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, you like met meerkats? That's so cool. And they showed me pictures of them, and they look exactly like the meerkats I know and love because they all kind of look the same.
But in a home. Inside. Wow.
It's just incredible. Isn't that great?
Meerkats are kind of big.
They're pretty small.
Like, they're like a foot tall though, right?
They're more like, I'd say like about this big. Like they're pretty small.
Maybe it depends on the kind of meerkat.
Maybe. All the ones I've seen have been pretty teeny tiny and cute.
I typed in meerkat to YouTube and it said meerkat movie, Lion King 1.5. A gem.
That's true. That's a great movie.
I love that movie. I remember as a kid, that was one that I like really enjoyed watching over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm looking at photos of meerkats now. They are so adorable.
Aren't they?
How tall are meerkats when they stand?
I love it when they stand.
I love it when they stand. They look so fancy.
And it's funny too, because all the prairie dogs I see, they kind of do that same little stance sometimes. They'll go run, 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 and then they'll kind of just like sit up on their little feet.
That's amazing. Meerkats typically stand about 10 to 14 inches tall. So that's about a foot. It's taller than a foot even. This height is usually measured at their shoulders with the tail. The tail can add an additional 10 inches if you were to add that. But obviously you're not going to add that to their height.
There you go.
Fantastic.
They're just little cuties.
Imagine a meerkat running around your house.
I know. I was like, oh, like people have ferrets, and I feel like it's like a similar vibe, but like different, because obviously it's a different animal, but like I just think it would be so funny.
That's amazing.
But yeah.
Now you can have dreams about that.
I know. I'm like, I didn't know that people could do that. I think they said that you're not really supposed to, but they like rescued them and were taking care of them. So it was like, it was a nice thing. But the other thing that I did this weekend was I went back to the book sale.
Oh,
because
my God.
The book sale lasted
I
over
actually
a week.
didn't see that coming, Raeleen.
Really?
I thought it was a 3-day thing. It was over. I thought you couldn't go back.
No, that's how it usually is. But this is Calgary's big book sale. And like, that's what it's called. And it truly is a big book sale. It lasts like 10 days.
Oh, wow.
It started on a Friday, and normally it would go until today, but they canceled like the final day of it for some reason, because like, there's lots of construction happening there, and they were like, let's just cancel the final day. But yeah, so it goes for over a week, and I wasn't planning to go back, but I did. I just couldn't help it, you know. I was like, well, because I figured if there's anything left over there, like this would be the time to do it when everything is like dirt cheap, like they've discounted everything since the final day. So yeah, I would love to tell you all about that.
Well, let's do it. Let's shift into a book haul.
All right. Okay, so the vibe was completely different this time, because I think last week when I went, and I think I mentioned this, it was like really hot that day. So when I was like lugging all my books back to the car, it was just like, get me out of here. Well, yesterday was pouring rain, like just absolute downpour, which I mean, I love that. It was so nice. We actually got hail a couple of days ago, which was really weird. Like living here is such a strange experience. Strange existence. But yeah, it was pouring rain, so I was kind of like, I hope I don't find too many things, because then I'm going to be like lugging this big box with my umbrella, or like books getting wet, just nightmare. So I was kind of like nervous about finding too many things, but luckily I found just the right amount, because I got there and when I tell you it was like the most picked over book sale I've ever seen.
That's
like,
so funny.
I mean, first of all, I was very happy to see that so many of the books sold, because they had a ton of books, and I was like, how are they going to get rid of all of these? You know, like tables full with like spines up, just like stacks of books everywhere. But when I went yesterday, there was a lot of books just like kind of face up on the tables, because for a lot of the categories, that was all that was left. And I was like, you know, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful thing. So first of all, love that. But I also decided I was going to skim through every single section because of how picked over it was. I was like, there might be hidden gems. Like I didn't look at the romance section at all the first time I went. I didn't look at like the mystery thriller section at all, because I'm just like, you know what, those aren't really my categories, so I'll just skip them. But yesterday I went and I looked everywhere, and I ended up finding a few kind of hidden gems within those categories. So I got a couple of books from there, so I'll just go through them quickly. So I got The Troop by Nick Cutter, which is a horror book. Yeah, like this is a book that has been on my radar for quite a while, and I feel like never picked it up.
For some reason I would have said I bought you that book. Did I not buy you that book?
No. This is something that I could have seen you buying me, though. Like, this is about...
Maybe it was on a list.
Maybe. You've got it written down somewhere. That would be funny.
I do have a list of books for Raeleen.
Oh, that's funny. I love that. But yeah, this is a horror novel that's like about a troop of like campers, I guess. It's like a guy, and like he's a camp leader, and he's got all these kids, and they go out into the woods, and like some spooky person shows up, and spooky things ensue. So I'm like, I love that kind of stuff. Like I love when people are out in the woods and it's frightening. Like the book I was really hoping to find is The Ritual by, oh gosh, I can't remember the author's name right now, but it was turned into a movie of the same name that I really, really love. And I was really hoping to find that, and I didn't. But I feel like my manifested this book instead, because it's another like forest horror. So there's something about this book sale. I just keep finding things that are kind of close to what I want, but not exactly what I'm looking for. But then I also found another kind of like old school horror book that's been on my radar for a long time, and that is The Passage by Justin Cronin. So this one is like fairly large. It's like a 700, 800 page long book, and it's like a post-apocalyptic book, and I don't really know too much about it, but I know it was really popular back in the day, and it's a series. Like I think there's 3 books. I don't know if I'll read them all, but I just like kind of read the synopsis and the first couple of pages, and it seems almost like the plot of like The Last of Us a little bit. Like there's like a government secret like got out, like a, you know, something like broke out of a facility and has like caused something. And I'm like, is it zombies? I don't know if it's zombies or if it's something else, because it's kind of unclear. But then there's also like a young girl character. So I'm like, wait, is this The Last of Us? And so I just kind of, I wanted to give that a go because I'm into that. But I also found Motherhood by Sheila Heti, which seemed crazy that this was still there. Like I saw every time I saw like a really like, you know, cool book that I'm like, oh, I recognize that one. It's not just, you know, a bunch of ratty mass markets. Like this is a beautiful hardcover book just sitting there and nobody wanted to buy it. Crazy. And this is a book I actually did buy this once many years ago, and you know, started reading it, wasn't really into it, and I got rid of it. But I want to give it another try. I think with age, perhaps I might like this more. And I actually was flipping through it earlier, and I noticed that this book doesn't have quotation marks.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I thought that was kind of interesting, because I know that you dislike that usually, but it obviously this book like transcended it, or maybe it worked for whatever reason. So that was exciting.
I didn't remember that. That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited to now have that. And then the final book I got is one that I was also very surprised to see, because it seems like a cool book. It's called Saha by Cho Namju, who is the author that wrote Kim Ji-young, born 1982. And so we really love that book, obviously. This one is like it seems kind of like dystopian mystery. Like I think I saw a review that like compared it to Squid Game a little bit, because it's about this like town it's literally called Town, and it's sort of like you got your haves and your have-nots. Like there's the really rich people, and then there's the people who are kind of at the bottom of the food chain, and they live in this like special housing place, and there's like a murder, and so somebody from this place is being accused, and so it's kind of just like a class situation. And so I'm intrigued about that, because obviously we really liked her other books. So
yeah, that's a cool find.
So it felt really special to find that. So those are the books that I found at the book sale. But while I was in the downtown Calgary area, I decided to stop by Page's bookstore. Because I had a couple of books to pick up. Okay, I didn't browse. I did not browse. I had a mission, and I stuck to my mission.
So sick.
I had to go pick up Vanishing World by Sayaka Murata, because this came out a little while ago, and I pre-ordered it and just hadn't gone to pick it up yet. So I picked that up. Very excited to have that bad boy. But then I also picked up Eliza from Scratch by Sophia Lee, who is a booktuber from back in our booktube days, Bookish Sophia. And I have been following her journey of like writing this book for a while. Like she was kind of giving updates on Instagram. So I knew that this was coming out, and I was like, we got to support each other, man. We got to support our people. Nice. And it sounds really cute. Also, this book matches your shirt. I was thinking as soon as I saw your shirt, I was like, you literally match the cover of this book, the color palette.
Really does.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
Right? But this book also sounds very up my alley. Like, yes, it is a YA romance book, which I don't really read a lot of anymore, but the main character is like an overachiever in school. She like, all she cares about is like getting the best grades and all that kind of stuff. And at school, there's like a mix-up, and she gets put into a cooking class. And she's not very good at that. And so she's like having to reckon with like doing something that she's not very good at. But there's like this guy in her class, this cute boy, who is very good at cooking. And so it kind of turns into this whole thing, and they get really competitive. And I'm like, that just sounds lovely. I love anything to do with like restaurants and cooking and stuff. So I think this will be a fun read. And it is nice to have a YA read every now and then, because they're so quick. I feel like they're so quick to fly through nowadays. So if I need a little boost, a little speed boost, it feels good to read something like that. So yeah. That's my haul.
Beautiful. Well, I do have one book to haul. This was unexpected, but very exciting. As listeners may know, we got reached out to by New Directions, the publisher, a couple of months ago, or maybe it was like a year ago. I don't remember. And they reached out with their catalog, and you picked a couple things out. And I didn't see anything that I really wanted that time, but I was like, don't forget me. And they didn't. Very excited to hear from New Directions again, and they were letting us know about this book, which is Exephone, Voyages Outside the Mother Tongue by Yoko Tawada and translated by Lisa Hoffman Kuroda. So it says, this is Yoko Tawada's first essay collection in English, and it presents an electrifying new side of the National Book Award winner as she dives deep into her lifelong fascination with cross-hybridizing languages. So you know that I love books about writing. Mm-hmm. Love them. And have read a lot of them. And I guess I just really enjoy, like, artists talking about their craft. Whether, like, I love a video, I will watch a lot of YouTube videos that are like, those, I forget who makes them. It's like Wired or something, but it's like a director breaks down a scene. And then you just go through how you made that scene. Or I love hearing, like, a composer, like, talking about how he made a score or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I love the process of seeing behind the curtain a little bit.
Me too.
And especially when you respect the author and you're kind of like, how did you make that? Mm-hmm. Like, that's really interesting. And so not only is it about writing, but it's also about, like, language and translation and stuff like that. I feel like these are great topics, things that I'm interested in. So I was super excited and I said, yes, please send it to me. And it's not very long either. It's 165 pages. So
nice.
Zippy quick. I also needed to mention, though, in tandem with this, some breaking news.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yep. It's scary stuff. I actually did text you about this, Raeleen, but basically in the email we got from New Directions, they were like, let us know if there's anything else from our list that you might want.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know it's not, like, on the catalog you just sent us. So I was like, I feel a little cheeky asking for this, but one of my most anticipated releases of the year is The Garden by Hiroko Oyamada.
Yes.
I have read The Hole and Weasels in the Attic by her. You've also read The Factory by her. And I was like, I'm just really looking forward to this book. I don't know if you have copies available yet, kind of a thing, but I just would like to be put on the list. Heartbreaking news. Madeline let me know that The Garden by Hiroko Oyamada has been delayed. It will not be coming out this year. So
sad.
This is important. Madeline said, I'm sorry to say that the translation of Garden has been delayed from this fall to next year. So I don't know when that means. And I tried digging into it a little bit and I couldn't quite figure out when it's coming out. But I needed to say this for a few reasons. Number one, that's just heartbreaking, and I'm sure that because we've read the Hiroko Oyamada books, other people have read them, and maybe other people are, like, also anticipating this book, so I wanted to let people know. But the other thing is, this was one of my books for my New Year's goals, and I can now no longer read it. Obviously, every year we choose a couple of books to read that are new releases that we're trying to read to support usually, like, favorite authors that are coming out with new books, but also just, like, new things we've never heard of but sound amazing. Anyways, The Garden by Hiroko Oyamada was on my list, and it is now off the list because it's literally not going to be published. So I guess I wanted to ask you, Raeleen, do you think that I just erase this off the list? And now instead of 4 books, I just have the 3 to read? Or do you think I should replace it with a different book?
Ooh, I think you just erase it. I don't think you need to put any added pressure on yourself. Also, we're almost 6 months into the year. I think it would be a wild thing to change your... I mean, you could. You totally could, but...
Yeah,
I don't think you have
tricky.
to. I don't think you have to put that pressure on yourself.
It's a tricky one. All right, well, I'll keep an eye out on the publishing world. I'll see if something comes up that I'm like, actually, I've just found out this is coming out in October. I had no idea, and I really want to read it. That could supplant that other one. But
for sure.
Let's just focus on the positive. This book by Yoko Tawada sounds very cool.
It does indeed. I also got one book from the library that I wanted to give a quick shout. I just kind of remembered it was at the bottom of my stack here. So I've put a bunch of holds on, like, kind of new releases that I'm intrigued by, and I don't usually expect them to come in so quickly because they had a lot of holds. So I wasn't really expecting this. I don't know if I'll have time to get to it before I have to return it, but it sounds really cool, so I wanted to give it a shout out. And that is Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Huang, who wrote Natural Beauty, which I just bought recently. I still haven't read that either. So I thought it would be kind of crazy to read her new book before I read her first book. But this one sounds really interesting. So the main character is this woman who got really like close with someone when she was, I think, in college or something. They're both artists and they were really good friends. But then the friend got really famous and they kind of drifted apart. And so there's this thing. It's kind of Black Mirror-ish, actually. There's this new technology that's like a thing that can make people kind of link up mentally.
Okay.
And so she's like, if we do this, like I'll be able to kind of access like her inspirations, her, like artistic visions, stuff like that. Like so that she'd be able, and like I think she might also be able to like see her memories and stuff. Like it would be really crazy for this to be a thing. But so she really wants to do this. And so that's like what the book is about. And I'm assuming they do it because otherwise what is the plot? But
yeah,
sounds creepy. And I've been trying to hunt down more kind of Black Mirror-ish books since I finished the newest season because I just love it. So I've probably asked this before, but if anybody has any recommendations for things that are Black Mirror-ish, weird technology or like technology getting too advanced in a way that's frightening, like I find that kind of stuff really fascinating. And yeah.
Would you call that's sci-fi, right?
I guess. Yeah, like near future sci-fi is kind of honing in on it, where it's like something that like it's kind of like it's close. Like I feel like these things are just around the corner. They could happen. Like that's what it's kind of like sci-fi. Not exactly, like some of them are horror, but it's more of like a slight spook, like a low level, like, this could happen. And that's what makes it scary.
Yeah. What the hell is science fiction?
Yeah, I find it really hard to kind of nail down what I would call sci-fi,
Because when I think of sci-fi, I actually think of a few different things. For
example, a very, very wide genre for sure.
Yeah. I definitely think of space. Yeah. For example, I'm like, it should be set in space. But then I like think of Black Mirror and I'm like, that's sci-fi.
Definitely.
Like it's looking at science, in this case technology, and it's fiction about that, like speculating and thinking about it. So here's a science fiction. This is the Wikipedia article. Science fiction is a genre of speculative fiction. Oh, interesting. So sci-fi is within speculative.
Oh, interesting. I would have put it the other way around. I like that.
Interesting. Okay, science fiction is a genre of speculative fiction that stereotypically deals with imaginative and futuristic concepts. These concepts include advanced science and technology, space exploration, time travel, parallel universes, and extraterrestrial life. The genre can explore science and technologies in different ways, such as human responses to or the consequences of theoretical new advancements. I mean, by that definition, this is Black Mirror and stuff like that is definitely sci-fi, because I'm also thinking of like Her, the movie with Joaquin.
Yeah,
right? That's like an AI.
Yeah.
But it's not set in space. Like people are still doing corporate jobs. It's still like a very similar to our world, but there's this tech influence. I guess I'm just thinking about this because obviously one of your goals is to read a sci-fi book this year. One of my goals is to read a sci-fi book, and it's interesting to think about what are we counting under that.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. Like I have this. I think I need to like break free of what my idea of sci-fi is, because if I'm reading a book about someone who has a robot companion, like that is sci-fi. That is definitely sci-fi. Yeah. But in my head, it has to be about aliens. Otherwise it's not sci-fi.
This is fascinating. I've now looked up define sci-fi. That was my Google search. And on Reddit, so not that we can trust Reddit, but at the same time, it's just people talking. What's your definition of science fiction? And someone responds, they define it as that branch of literature which deals with the reaction of human beings to changes in science and tech.
I like that.
Yeah, that's elegant.
Because it is like, it's sort of like how horror is like about people. Like at the core of it, the genre is about like people and how they react to things and how they move forward with their lives after certain things happen and stuff like that. And I feel like sci-fi is just a different version of that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Ooh, listen to this take from another random commenter on the internet. I've always liked the idea science fiction is the probable made possible, whereas fantasy is the impossible made probable.
Oh, cool.
That's an interesting distinction. So like you think of a piece of technology and you're like, this is probable. Like this could happen. And then in the story, it's happened. It's possible. Yeah. We've done it. Whereas fantasy, dragons aren't possible, but it's made like, wow, this could happen. Imagine if it had happened.
Yeah.
That's a cool little difference.
It's cool. Man, talking about this makes me think, like, could sci-fi be my favorite genre? Maybe, if I would just read it. 'Cause it sounds great.
Yeah, I totally feel you. Oh, okay. One final one to get a little bit more serious here. Merriam-Webster. Let's see how they define it. Science fiction. Fiction dealing principally with the impact, I'm already liking this, with the impact of actual or imagined science on society or individuals, or having a scientific factor as an essential orienting component. Quite broad, but I like that. So like dealing with the impact of an actual or imagined science on society or individuals. That is similar to the other one we were seeing.
Yeah, that exactly pretty much sums up Black Mirror.
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi. Man, this really opened up my brain. This has been cool.
Is this going to be the summer of sci-fi?
I think so, because actually I'll talk about it when we talk about the movies we've been watching in our bonus episode, but I've been watching a lot of sci-fi movies, actually. And so I think it's beginning. I think it's happening for me already.
It's starting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've just talked through our new books. Let's talk about what we've read. Lol.
That's a funny joke. It's funny, it's the month we're supposed to be probably reading the most, almost, some might argue, and I feel like we're doing the opposite. I mean, I've read a little,
much so,
but not really.
Okay, I'll start us off. I have not read any more Intermezzo.
Uh-oh. Is the buddy read falling apart? Are you guys still friends?
First of all, me and Maureen will always be friends. Secondly, Intermezzo, right. I kind of avoided it for a week or two there.
Yeah.
I just wasn't reading it. I wasn't dipping into it. I was prioritizing other things. Plus, I was just very busy. But then the guilt started building. I was like, I've got to message Maureen. I've got to just tell her the truth. Mm-hmm. And then she messaged me first. And she said, Ariel, I have totally fallen behind on the book. And I'm wondering where you're at, what you're feeling, and how we should move forward. And I was like, Maureen, you're the best. And I messaged her. I was like, funny you say that. I'm the exact same.
Yeah.
And she was like, she was just having a couple of busy few weeks as well. And I was like, let's just try and get back on this horse. Let's check in again in a week. So basically, that was like a couple days ago. So this coming weekend, we're going to check in again. And so I will see where I'm at. But did I mention last week that I'm going to try and get the audiobook for it?
Oh, no. But that's a good technique. When in doubt, try the audiobook.
And so I borrowed it from the library. So I've got a new strategy to get myself back on this horse. Mm-hmm. The Complete Persepolis, no progress. Not even one more page.
That's so crazy.
Finally, Anne's House of Dreams, Lucy Maud Montgomery.
Is that book 5?
Yes, this is number 5.
Okay, I'm trying to keep track of where you're at.
Is that epic?
It's pretty epic.
I read series now.
You're in the second half. You're in the second half of the series now.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
You're reading more of a series than me. I haven't read a series in forever. I'm like, I don't even remember what that life is like.
I was reading some reviews of this the other day, and I couldn't disagree with them more.
Oh.
Like, people are so pissed. It's actually very interesting. People are so pissed that Anne gets married and drops her career ambitions. It's set in the late 1800s, written by a woman in 1917.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be an accessible book for women at the time. It's reflecting what happened to women when they got married. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone's crazy. In all seriousness, I am enjoying this book. I think that these are great themes. It was a book of its time, written for people of its time. And the idea, like, people are like, I can't believe, like, Anne isn't going to become a famous writer. I'm like, there weren't many women writers at the time.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of women that got married and had a lot of babies and like, looked at the impact of that on their lives. And that's what's going to happen to Anne, and that's okay. It's also very like patronizing in a way, where it's like, oh, all you did was become a mother. It's like, whoa, that's a huge responsibility, a massive role, a giant job, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Anyways, it's just very interesting. So I am enjoying it. I am not liking it as much as the others, like not as much as the first one or the third one. And when I was talking to Connor about it, I was like talking about why I wasn't liking it as much, and he said, and he put it perfectly. He was like, it sounds like it doesn't have a central conflict. And I was like, huh, yeah, that's literally exactly it. There is no conflict in the novel. Yeah. Not to say that like everything is perfect, but in some ways everything is perfect. Like she gets married, she moves to a house, and she's starting a new life. But there is no like central conflict. There's no problem that she's dealing with really, and all of the conflict is happening to other characters. Like she meets a new neighbor and learns about their difficult life. And that's fascinating, and like the characters are really well fleshed out and stuff, but it's not Anne's conflict,
right?
You know, so I definitely think that's making it feel like it's a little
it's almost listless. Like, what's the point?
Yes.
What are we getting at here?
What are we getting at here?
Okay.
But I am enjoying it, and I have switched to listening to the audiobook.
Oh my gosh. How's that?
It's good.
Okay.
There's a lot of versions of the audiobook.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's been around for over 100 years. So the book is in public domain, and now, especially now, and so anyone can make an audiobook of it. But I'm just looking at my Libby app here. My version is read by a narrator named Susan O'Malley, and I was very strict that I needed to listen to this audiobook, because if you remember, I listened to the second book as an audiobook mainly, not fully, but mostly.
I forgot about that.
And Susan O'Malley read that one as well. And I was like, now I'm attached to her as the narrator. I need to listen to her copies of them. They're thankfully available through my library. I did have to wait like a week to get it, but I do have it now. But I couldn't, it was so fascinating. I couldn't buy it. I was like, whatever, I'll just use one of my credits on Libro FM. But it said, like, the publisher of this audiobook does not allow the use of credits for... And I was like, well, that's weird. And then I tried looking at it on a different thing. Oh, on Spotify? You can't play it on Spotify without buying it? And I was like, there's something weird about the rights with this book.
Some weird.
I'll just wait for the library. So I did, and now I'm listening to it, and I'm having a good time. Also, I will say, Lucy's just... Maud, as she liked to be called, like, she's just a better writer now. She's got some passages in here that I'm like, whoa! Oh my God, like, tattoo it on me. Like, it's so beautiful, the way she talks about the ocean.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, very beautiful stuff.
That's awesome.
All right, that's my reading update. What about you?
Mine is similar. So last week I had just started Catch 22, and I had read about 50 pages. Cool. I haven't made a ton of progress. I'm now on page 192. So I'm almost not even halfway. This book is 450 pages long. So I'm like nearing the halfway point, kind of. And I'm having a rocky road with this book. Okay, so last week I said I wasn't really enjoying it, and that's still kind of true. I've had moments where I've been like, oh yeah, this is picking up a little bit, or like I actually like found that part to be kind of funny, and like there have been some moments of enjoyment, but overall, I just don't think that this book was meant for me. But I don't want to quit it. Like, I'm having such a tumultuous experience in my own head right now, because I've been meaning to read this for 13 years or something. Yeah. And so I don't want to quit. Like, there's something in me that, like, I'm being competitive with myself, because I'm like, I don't want to be a quitter when it comes to this book. But I'm not having a great time. So I also do want to quit, because I know I could be reading something else that I'd be liking a lot more. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet, although I actually just got notified by the library that the audiobook is ready. Oh. But it's only on the 7-day loan. It's one of those, like, skip the line loans.
That's what happened with my intermezzo one.
And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to the audiobook, and I will finish it by next week.
Whoa.
I'm TBR challenging myself, kind of, because... Play the music. Because I want to finish this. Like, I really, really... Yeah. Like, I simultaneously want to have read it, and I also want it to be over. So that's kind of where
I really feel you. I was going to say, how many books are you currently reading?
I think I'm technically reading like 3 or 4, but I haven't read anything other than this in the past week.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, because I'm obviously in the middle of these 3 and have been for a few weeks now. I was gonna say I want to be finished 2 of the 3.
Ooh, nice.
By next week. I was like, we cannot continue this.
No,
this is insane.
this
so
has
I was gonna challenge myself to read 2 of my 3. Is there 2 of your 3 that you could challenge yourself to finish?
Well, maybe because you know what I could do? No, I actually, it would be fun because one of the other books I'm reading is They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us by Hanif Abdurraqib, which I am loving. But like I said, I haven't read any of it in the last week because I actually asked Kyle, I'm like, what should I do? I'm not really liking this book that much, but I have all these reasons why I want to read it. And then I have this other book that I'm loving.
Yeah.
But if I start reading that, like, I'm going to just abandon this. And so he was like, just focus on that one. Just read it. And then you can read the other book after. So in my heart, I think reading that, like finishing that book would be such a good, like dessert to reading this book. Like this is like the meat and potatoes that I need to finish in order to get to my dessert. And so if I could read both books, that would be awesome. It would be crazy.
Let's do an audio handshake on this one.
Okay.
Little handshake between the 2 of us. We're going to try our darndest, whatever it takes to read 2 of our 3 books. So what's the other one then?
I also have Rouge by Mona Awad that I started. Oh, yes. I read like 50 pages and it's been sitting on pause for a while. Okay, I've become one of those people that has like multiple books on the go and I'm just kind of becoming okay with it. I kind of like it a little bit.
Yes.
But I do want to read it. I was enjoying it. I was definitely enjoying it. And I think I'm in the mood to read like kind of unsound women, like people in weird situations. So like, I mean, this book that I was just talking about from the library, Immaculate Conception, like that sounds like the type of thing I want to be reading right now too. So I kind of want to try and like bang out these couple of books that I'm currently reading so that I can move on to some like totally different genre, like total left turn from the other things I'm reading. But I think that might be what I need right now.
Cool. All right, well then that's our currently reading. That's what we quote unquote read, which we didn't read, and that's our haul. So I think it's time to visit the mailroom. All right, I pulled some comments from all over. This one was a series of 3 comments from Pepper on our Discord.
Ooh, okay.
For Mashed Potato May. That's still the theme that I'm trying to chase up here. So, completed this classic Books Unbound book / personal mashed potato and had a dang good time. And there was an image of True Grit by Charles Portis.
Ooh, nice.
And then they followed up their comment with, now I'm following up by watching the 2010 movie and feeling very productive. And then they followed that comment up with, every like few hours they were putting a new comment. Surprisingly different than the book, but the essence of Maddie and Rooster is still there. So that was cool. Got this comment on the Discord from Shadowcat. Hello, everyone. Today I'm starting reading After the Crash by Michelle Bussey. It's been on my TBR for a decade. That is awesome that you are finally like pulling the trigger on that one.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
All right, then I pulled some comments from Instagram. I got some posts up here. We have a post from books_and_blankets. They say, every May for the last few years, I've attempted to take part in Books Unbound Podcast's challenge, Mashed Potato May. And they shared 3 books, Far Wilder Magic by Alison Saft, Scythe by Neil Shusterman, and The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. The only one I've heard of is Scythe, but A Far Wilder Magic has a really beautiful cover. So basically, I'm just wishing Books and Blankets the best. Good luck.
Beautiful.
The Reading Apprentice shared their Mashed Potato May TBR, and oh my god, the stack is insane. They did write The Biggest Mashed Potato. So I guess this is their Peter Glazebrook. The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I'm ashamed of this one, they say. I started it in December 2024 after multiple years of saying I was going to read it soon. Got about like 100 pages in, told my friend from university, who's been bugging me to read this book since at least 2019, that, quote, I'm far enough in that I won't just put it down, and proceeded to do just that. Very relatable.
Wow.
But then they also have a bunch of other books, many of which are books like are the last books in series, which is really cool.
That's satisfying.
So I'll share that post as well. And then the final TBR post that I found here was from Mood, Reads, and Coffee, a late post on my May TBR, joining in on Mashed Potato May. More or less reading books that I was too excited to start earlier and now have been living on my shelves for too long. And we've got Clara and the Sun, which I nearly had on my Mashed Potato May TBR.
Oh, really?
I actually had it on my desk the whole time we were recording the episode, and I was like, don't commit to it because I'm not sure if I can read it. They also have a short history of nearly everything by Bill Bryson, Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mitsuku Sujimura. Sorry, the picture's kind of dark for me to read. And then A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. Not dark because of the photograph's actually really beautiful. It's just because of my computer screen. So I will also link to those. I'll link to those 3 posts. Everyone go and support these readers. Wish them the best of luck. I also think that the way that Instagram is promoting hashtags is different now
really?
For like some goddamn ridiculous meta nonsense. But it's now showing me a lot of photos of mashed potatoes from different restaurants. And I was like, are they accidentally participating in Mashed Potato May? Like, did somebody at some restaurant see that hashtag and they were like, oh, we'll share it. But no, they're not using the hashtag. So I think Meta AI is
like
something
related.
is suggesting mashed potato content to me, which
that is hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. I do think that's very funny. The final comment actually, there's 2 more comments I wanted to share, Raeleen. One, that these are not mashed potato related, but this one is a follow-up on an important bit of information that I think we really need to talk about.
Okay.
Diane C. 1975 says, perhaps it was a muskrat. They live in water.
Yes.
They are smaller than a beaver, but much larger than a regular rat. And so we did have a couple of comments about the rat situation, and people were saying like, how the hell did Alberta get rid of rats? And somebody else was like, another YouTuber I follow made a video about the Alberta rat thing. Like, that's really weird. The 2 people that I follow made talked about this.
Somebody sent a link to it on Discord before our last episode had even gone up on Patreon.
Oh, we just hadn't seen that.
It was just funny. I'm like, what are the chances that we talked about it? I don't know, it's wild.
But like, that's what I had said to you on the podcast, where I was like, I think it's probably a muskrat. Yeah. And then I sent you the photos of a bunch of muskrats afterwards. Yeah. And then you showed those to Kyle. And what is the final
He said idea? That is definitely what I saw.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So it's been confirmed as much as we can confirm it. Because I looked at him and I'm like, he does look like a kind of an otter from behind. Like, if you're just seeing his head, like, he for sure looks like an otter. So yeah, that was what we saw.
You saw a muskrat, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see another one someday.
Yeah. And then the other comment that I wanted to read was from Vivian. She said, Ariel needs to try some of the old Pokemon DS games, like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Platinum. I don't know if they hold up graphics-wise because I'm unfamiliar with ones that came after, but story-wise, they're decently challenging, and the older Pokemon are great. Bonus, your Pokemon walk behind you in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which... That sounds amazing.
That's so cute.
If you guys don't know, I'm on a Pokemon journey. I never played Pokemon as a child, and then I just played Pokemon X/Y the other month, and I really enjoyed it. Now I'm playing Pokemon... Which one am I playing? Does anyone remember?
I feel like I should remember, but I don't. There's too many. Sun and Moon? Was it one of those ones?
No, I think it might... Sword and Shield. It's Sword and Shield.
I knew it was something and something.
Yeah, Sword and Shield. Anyways, I'm playing it and I'm liking it, but I'm not like... the farther I've gone along as well, really, because now I've played more than I had last week. I'm definitely not liking it as much as the other one. Although I did just get a new Pokemon last night. Huge. Because I'm very picky. I'm very picky about the Pokemon that I get. I don't want just some common Pokemon.
It has to be a really cool one.
It has to be really cool or really cute.
Yes.
I'm texting you a photo right now of my new Pokemon that I'm very excited about. Morpeko. He's a hamster.
Why is he so angry?
When he gets hungry, he goes into this, it's called hangry mode.
Oh my god.
And he becomes a little demon and he switches type. He goes from electric to dark type.
I love that.
So cool.
I see why you like him.
Anyways, I've just kind of chose this one random, like the one that I'm playing, Sword and Shield, slightly randomly. Like, I was just like, I want to play another Pokemon game. This is one of the new big ones that came out on Switch. I'll just get this one. But then I started doing some research online. And I was like, you know what? I want a bit more information. Tier ranking. What are the best games? And pretty universally, people seem to agree that Pokemon on the DS was the peak. And there's like 3 or 4 games there. The ones that that commenter that Vivian mentioned, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Platinum. There's White, I think it's White and Black. Like there's a couple of games that were on the DS. Those seem to consistently rank on people's favorites. And I still have my DS. So I believe I will be doing that next.
I think that's the move, yeah. Did you know, have you ever heard of Pokemon Snap?
Snap. No. No, I have not.
It's a photography game where you take pictures of Pokemon. You're in a little car, and it's on the Switch now too. It was originally I think an N64 game. I used to play it on whatever the original thing it was on.
Oh
and
my God.
You're literally just on this little car that you're not controlling. It just moves through an environment, and you just look around and you see a Pokemon and you can zoom in and you just like take pictures of them, and you get points based on like how good the picture is. So like if they're facing forward and like if they're asleep, you can kind of like do something to wake them up. And so if they're like awake and you take a picture, you get more points.
Is it basically like a mobile game? Like it's like that simple? It sounds really
It is pretty simple, yeah. Yeah. Like it was a very basic game. I'm pretty sure it was N64, so it was like a very, very simple game. And the Switch version is just kind of like an elevated version of it, but it's the same thing.
That's so sick.
It's pretty great.
2021, The Verge did an article about it, and it says, new Pokemon Snap is a supremely chill safari on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it's a very good, like, kind of mindless, chill, cute game. Like you get to just look at, and there's probably I've only played it once or twice, the new one, because I kind of just forgot I had it, but this is making me want to play it again. It could be a good audiobook. Oh, it could be a good audiobook game to play.
Oh, that's interesting. That's definitely a genre of game. Yeah.
I love that.
All right, what comments did you find?
Okay, I got a couple. So this comment from Jet, I feel like was very important and needed to be read. So they say, not a potato term, but I think Raeleen's preventative potato could be called a dessert first situation, similar to how we save mashed potatoes because they're the best thing on the plate and you want them to be the last thing in your mouth. in this case, you're eating dessert first because it's the thing you're most excited about and you don't want to get full before you get a chance to eat it. And that's how I feel about the other book I'm reading. It's like I'm reading it before it becomes a mashed potato, but I like that. I like the idea of it being eating your dessert first. I think that's cool.
Eating my dessert first. I do that.
I don't usually eat dessert. I always forget that dessert is a thing. I'm not really a sweet potato.
When it's around, like an example of this is the other day I was really busy. I make coffee every single morning for me, my mom, and Connor. Every single morning. And then this one day I had an early appointment somewhere else. And I was like, by the time I get home, I then have to go into that meeting. I won't have time to make the coffee. I was like, you know what? And it was only me and my mom. I was like, you know what? I'm going to splurge. I'm going to Tim Hortons. Timmy's, here I come.
Yep.
And I got me and my mom our favorite coffees from Timmy's, which we never have anymore because like a couple years ago we realized how unhealthy they are. It's the French vanilla cappuccinos. They're so delicious. Holy crap. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm buying it. And so I went in. I got 2 medium French vanilla cappuccinos, and I couldn't help it. I got a honey cruller, which I never get that donut.
Yeah.
But I saw it and I was like, I'm doing it. That's the donut for me. Anyways, I get home. I cut the donut in half. And I give my mom a half and me a half and our coffees. And she's like, but shouldn't we eat lunch first? I was like, no.
Absolutely not.
No. We're doing the donut. And we had the donut and our coffees. And then we had lunch. And we were both like, we nailed it. That was the right way to do that.
It's actually funny that you say that because yesterday I went to Tim Hortons and got
what did
Kyle
you
and
have?
I did a similar thing where I got us ice caps, which is an iced cappuccino.
Just classic.
With a shot of espresso in it.
Okay, not classic.
It's game changing.
You fancied it up. You added more coffee.
Yeah,
power.
ice caps are really, really sweet. And it's kind of just like, like a syrup and some ice blended up is kind of what it tastes like.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much like actual coffee or caffeine
I don't
in an ice
think
cap.
There's really a whole lot in there.
It's basically a slushy.
Yeah, it's pretty much a slushy
like a
of sugar.
Slushy.
And so I started doing that. I'm like, I'm just going to put in a shot of espresso. And so now it tastes like actual coffee, but still very sweet and delicious, but like not as sweet. And then I also we also got a 6-pack of donuts.
What donuts did you get? What's your favorite donut? I don't think we've ever talked about this.
Do you want to know my favorite donut? It definitely, I do have a favorite. It's the maple dip.
Great choice. But you know what? I'm going to say it. Unique choice. I don't hear many people mentioning the maple dip.
Yeah, it's one of their classic donuts. It's so delicious. I also got
the original lineup.
Yeah. I also got a honey cruller as well. We split that. There's this new one that's like chocolate dip with marshmallow inside of the ring of the donut.
Yeah,
I haven't tried
that's
that
like
yet.
A fun limited edition
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. They also have like mini egg ones sometimes, like during Easter time.
The
Like
mini egg,
they do
the
crazy
Easter
stuff.
one.
But yeah, I also got the double chocolate, and I got just a sour cream glaze or whatever that, like another classic donut. So delicious.
Yep.
And an apple fritter.
I love the
all of
apple
them.
fritter. To me, the apple fritter is a close second. That is my second favorite donut. It's my dad's favorite donut. And so growing up as a kid, I would always get a bite of one.
Yeah.
My favorite is the Boston cream. I love a Boston cream.
That's
donut.
fascinating. That's like the opposite of my favorite.
Yeah, it's
I don't like a
chocolate.
cream filling.
That's in your Connor also doesn't like a filling in a donut, but me and my mom can't get enough of a filling in a donut. A donut feels incomplete to me if it doesn't have a filling, you know?
I see.
Oh God, now I want donuts. Did you know that Canadians eat the most donuts of any other country per capita?
I didn't, but I get it. They're so readily available.
They're so readily available. They're so delicious. They're literally, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a Tim Hortons. So
it's true. They are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Okay, well, I just have two last quick comments here, and then we can stop talking about donuts. Okay, so Amanda says, as I was listening to the ep, or I was listening to it during my run, I saw a kangaroo, local wildlife galore, which is great because obviously we talked about wildlife a lot in the last episode. So love that. And then Katie says, this is in all caps. I love this. This made me laugh. She just says, no rats in Berta and a rat police. Just absolutely like astonished. I know, I was like, that was my reaction too. I couldn't believe it when you said that to me.
I kind of felt like you didn't believe me. You know, like,
it sounded made up, but I know you like. I know that you know things. You know, you've got your fingers looking at information online that I would never think to look up, and somehow you just hear things. You know things. You're like a I don't know, little bird that hears all the secrets. So I did, yeah, it sounded unbelievable, but I knew you were right.
It is pretty unbelievable. Yeah. It's odd. It is odd.
It's very odd.
All right. Well, on that incredibly poignant note, I have a couple of things I need to tell you guys before we log off of this episode. So the first thing is that this is your final opportunity. This week is your final week to take advantage of our bookmark and sticker sale. I'm not lying to you guys. Our bookmarks are beautiful. I have them here in front of me now. They are so gorgeous. I am so proud of every single collaboration we've done. We've gotten to work with so many amazing, beautiful artists, and they've all brought such different ideas and like it is. We've spoken to a lot of these artists. They all mention how interesting the shape of a bookmark is. Like when you actually go to do artwork for it, it's very thin and tall. Yeah. And the way that all of these different artists have approached it is so fascinating. So these bookmarks are available. They're all really beautiful. They're massively on sale. And so are the stickers that go along with them that are all like an element taken from the bookmark. So like on this one that I'm holding, which is, oh God, it's so pretty. This chicken here, we would just remove the chicken and made a sticker out of the chicken, for example. So they're all really beautiful. They're available now. They're on sale. At the end of May, we're going to be removing them from our shop forever. So if you want some,
last chance.
Now's the chance. Yeah, last chance. The other thing to mention is that our book club is going to be starting next week. Is that right? Yes. So, like, again, I don't understand days.
I know. Times. When this comes out, it'll be very soon that it's happening.
Yeah. For us, when we're recording, it's still over 2 weeks away. So I'm like, kind of lots of time. But anyways, not when this comes out. It's at the end of this week. On May 31st, we will be doing our first live show on the Patreon, where we are both going to show up with our copies of the book. That reminds me, I need to buy my copy. We're going to show up with our copies of the book and start reading it live on air together. We're all going to have fun to bring the book club into effect. And then we'll have all of the month of June to read the book. And if you want to check it out, we'll also be doing a bonus video for our vlog, our reading vlog for that. So there's going to be lots of fun stuff happening on the Patreon. It's a fun time to join if you'd like to go check that out. That being said, actually, we are now going to end this episode, but we're going to go and keep recording. The recording never stops. We're going to be doing our monthly media wrap-up, where we're going to be talking about the movies, the shows, the podcasts, the YouTube videos, all sorts that we've been watching and we want to tell you guys about. Namely, I have a lot to say. I watched a lot of good movies. I know you did as well, Raeleen. But I have a lot to say about Severance Season 2.
Ooh, okay.
We'll see about that. We will see about that.
All right.
So that's a little teaser trailer. We hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks for being a part of our community, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.